So I drove up to look at 4380 West Ridge Drive today. This just kind of shows you the map. There's neighbors on both sides, and it's a pretty wide parcel. So here I'm just, this is kind of the drive-in, if you will, past the, we're driving west. The property's on the right, the gorge is on the right, but we're not to the property yet. This is just entering the West Ridge Drive. So I'm panning around a little just to kind of show you like population pressure. You know, the neighbors are thinly spaced. So I'm narrating over this partly because the wind noise made the original spoken narration while I was driving just illegible. So here we're actually this is the property, and you'll notice this like white camper is gonna kind of help orient you to where you are, but this is all still the property. I think this is the west side of the property. And runs Okay, so this is the neighbor to the east, and this is probably the lot line on the eastern side. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of walk this in, and I've got it in wide angle so you kind of get a feel for how it looks, but I'll do this walk again with a normal lens. So the land goes up slightly. Looks like, you know, it's maybe 10 feet taller as we kind of go toward the gorge. And I'm walking slightly uphill as well. So kind of these, it's sloping up flat, and then it's got these rock mounds. Bunch of tall trees, which is kind of cool. I mean, this is wooded, seems very pastoral. Kind of a swale there. Might be a real private place to build. So one thing is that this property is in the scenic area, but there's houses on both sides of it. And when you look at the satellite map, it looks like their properties are certainly more cleared than this property. So, and this is probably the other corner of the lot. You know, kind of has a line going this way. I've had the camera facing basically north all the time. Now I'm gonna go back by where the car is parked, which is kind of in the middle of the parcel, east to west. There, it looked like there was a, you know, I could kind of walk in and walk over toward the edge. Although I could probably try going cross country. I don't know if this will help. That's 1x instead of 0.5x. So it's going to distort less, but you get less panorama. So here's cars over there. I'm gonna kind of walk in here. It's sort of like real grassy. What do we got? Oh good, this is right in the middle of a... Oh yeah, nice. I just walked in. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Why didn't I take a look at that? Fuck. This is all poison oak. Oh, I'm being really stupid. Fortunately, I'm wearing those Nike socks. God, it's all ankle high poison oak. In for a penny. In for a long pound of... This is all poison oak. Holy shit. So you're going to want to try and clear 2.5 acres of poison oak. Up on the rocks, it's everywhere. Holy fuck. Trying to find a path to the edge, to the view. I guess I'm just going to continue here, since I'm already going to get punished for this. Oh man, this is what we're approaching. No wonder there were no trespassing signs. My God, I've never seen so much poison oak. It's the ground cover. Okay, here we are. This would have been less if I'd gone the path by the car. Oh, I'm fucked. I'm going to pay for this. All right, so is this your building site? I kind of think it is. You got some really nice big rocks. Really interesting. And here's the edge of the cliff. I assume that's a deer bone skeleton or something. That doesn't look like human length bones. You can hear the highway if you're right at the edge. I don't know, can you kind of get the feel for the 3D-ness of this? orchard down below on Ruthven Point. So we could probably, you know, hire someone to take out some of these trees, because clearly when you look, as I said, when you look at the satellite, there's not as much heavy trees on the adjoining lots. But I mean, really, I think you'd want to keep most of this. This tree's been burned at some point. Looks like an oak, maybe. There's the wide angle lens again, if that helps a little with a feeling of depth perception. It's not a I mean, there's some just open cliff here, but this actually kind of drops down a little bit. There I'm walking on moss, kind of gentle. And it rises even a little more. So I think if you were trying to get an even higher building spot, maybe you'd put it over to the side, because this goes up even more here. Looks like with rocks. I want to get a topo. This might be a really good place. You can kind of see what your view might be if you were able to keyhole some views here. I think I can see the hatch out there. Through the trees. And then, you know, as I said, that's the orchard's down there, but it's kind of hard to see how far you can see that way. But there's a lot of undergrowth. If you cleared this out, you'd have a view. Not like Westcliff, unless you whack trees down this slope, which would probably be a good idea anyway, from a fire standpoint, because you'd want these trees gone if your house was right up here at the top, because otherwise you're just going to burn up these and your house is going to be toast, I imagine. All right, well, I mean, it seems like a genteel neighborhood. This is certainly a big parcel. It's huge. There's lots of room. You could have a separate shop. You wouldn't have to go 2 stories at all. You could just have a enormous single story footage and have, you know, a shop in a separate building. And kind of like that other place. I kind of like the idea that the other layout of the place that had the Warma. I mean, just the idea that, you know, the separate buildings and the separate garage and stuff like that. I mean, obviously they went 2 levels. Maybe you'd go 2 levels here just because you'd want a little altitude to get a maximum view. I don't know. Okay. You know, this might be a much better starting point than West Cliff from the standpoint of just not having the same kind of challenges with neighbors and with the topology constraints and setbacks. Here you could pretty much do anything you wanted and have several buildings of doing anything you wanted. I don't know how much the commission having this be in the scenic area makes things worse. I'm just rambling. I think that's enough video on this property. You can come take a look at it when you get here. So like and subscribe, and go ahead and smash that button so that you get notifications when I post new content. Hey Gwen, when you come to look at this is a better way in. So you'll see when you drive in, I'm facing east now. When you drive in, you'll be coming like this and going that direction. You'll see on the right here, and it's pretty easy to see, you know, when you're looking at this property. It's between these two houses, and it's quite a gap between them. But there's a wide part in the road here. Just park there and you'll see, you know, you can just see the neighbors across the drive over there with the white camper. But you'll see kind of some rocks here by the car, but then there's a clear path that kind of goes in here, and this is less poison oak, but there's still poison oak. But I just want to show you this walk-in. This is where you'll want to come, and you'll just need to be cognizant that you're going to be walking on you're still going to be walking in poison oak, but you get to check this out. You know, it's I'll tell you just kind of general impression. You're more isolated from the river here, but not from the gorge. Its highway noise is a little more pronounced here because your house is going to kind of, that's the view direction you're going to face. Okay, so, and this is back to where I walked, so. But as a site to build, you know, if the commission and stuff like that is not a undue negative, you know, from a building perspective, this is probably better. It's really close. It has that you're in the forest feel to it because it is green, you know, and verdant. You know, it has some of that same feel that you have being in, you know, the forest in Snow White's cottage, kind of, as you drive into West Cliff. It's so protected by the trees. It's just like in its own microclimate. Anyway, like and subscribe.